are prepared to break the silence. I'll be out in the sunshine, running beside the lions. I've been feeling down, but I've been looking up, afraid to fall. God, I've been so down, can you pick me up? Don't let me fall. Can you show me how to fix this mess? I am down and on my knees, and I may fall as I'm so close to the end.
How are we doing, beautiful, sexy people? Hope you are well. Hope everybody is having a relatively good start to the week. It's Monday, yay. Which it's too close to the weekend is Monday. Why? Just why? I mean, especially, you know, for some of these lads in the chat who aren't having the best of time watching their teams this season. To say the least. I think I've put it in nicer terms than what they're probably going to say through this stream. I should put an over 18 tag on it just in case, but who knows? We will see. We will see. Thank you very much for watching. I am expecting 2 more guests to join me very, very shortly as well. But yeah, thank you very much for coming back. Obviously, this is going to be the last part, the part 2 to the part 1, the second half, as we like to call it in football. And we're going to be looking at teams that at this current moment occupy that lower half of the table and some in the relegation zone. So we will, this could be a little bit of a breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth therapy session, but we'll get you through it. We'll get you through it. And you let us know how you guys are feeling in the chat. Thank you very much, as I say, for coming in. Do appreciate it. Looking forward to chatting to the guests as well. If you could, you don't have to, totally up to you. I'm not going to pester you for it, but if you could, please drop a massive like on the video and subscribe if you haven't already. If you like it, if you know, feel free to do it at the end. You make the choice. And if you want to click the notification bell, be my guest. If you want to flick my bell, do. Feel free. Shouldn't have said that. But please do like the video and subscribe to the channel if you want to watch some more general football Burnley shit. Other than that, we are on social media. We are on quite a few of the socials, as you can see, running along the bottom half of the screen. But here's more of an in-depth video to show you where you guys can check us out. So I'm going to bring our amazing guests in just a moment. I'm going to take some of your comments. Apparently, it's lagging according to what Dan's saying, which is strange because on the internet, it says I have a strong connection, but then on the screen, it's showing I have like 1 bar. It's just been a little bit weird. Johnny's in. I think he says relegation contenders. It sounds like they're signing up to get relegated, Dan. Can't be on the live tonight. So late. Need to sleep. I'm here to say hi. Hi to yourself, especially if you watch this back. Hi to yourself. I'm doing all right, or I'm doing all right if it's lagging, just in case you need to have that bit part conversation. Cindy's in. Hope you're well, Cindy. Hope you're well, Adam, as well. Adam's in representing. Big Bad Baz is in the building. Hope you are well. It says, good to see the Clarets smashing the championship. Obviously, Barry is a Wolves fan. And he says, beating the Hammers on Saturday. Hopefully we can stay in the Prem and see you at our place next season. Let's see. Adam says, hi, I'm a Blackburn fan. What do you think of Blackburn this season? I'm glad you said this season, because on a whole, I could go off on a real tangent. But I'm not. Just because you're our rivals, I won't. What I will say is you are the poorest team in the playoffs. And this is me trying to be nice as a Burnley fan here, Adam. Just think about this. You're the poorest team in the playoffs. And if I was to make a bold prediction, I think you'll do what Preston have done for many a year. You'll enjoy that moment of being in the playoffs for most of the season. You'll finish the season out of it. But we shall see. We shall see. I think John Dalton Masson needs to get Ben Brereton Diaz back up front instead of on the wing. But I'm not the gaffer. Clara Bon's in. Hope you're well as well. So thank you for coming on. But right, let's get some guests in. First up, representing Huddersfield Town Massive, we have man like Ryan. How you doing?
Hello there. Yes, as good as I can be at the moment, of course. And thank you for having me on as always. It's good to be here.
No, anytime. Is it lagging from your end when I'm doing it as well?
Yes, it is quite. Yeah, it's quite bad actually. To be fair. Well, it is quite bad in my opinion.
I don't know why it's doing it, because it's saying that the internet's strong. I'm sat like right near the internet box. I don't get it.
No, it's strange, isn't it? I don't understand it either. Ugh.
I don't know why it's being weird. God knows. But no, thank you for coming in. Really do appreciate it. Obviously, tell people, because you do some YouTube for Huddersfield Town, tell people where they can support, show their support to you and your stuff.
Yes, you can come over and subscribe, obviously, to my channel, Huddersfield Town Fan TV. Like I say, I do previews, reviews, and sometimes vlogs, but I'm not really doing much of that. And also, new to the channel, hopefully next weekend. Some fan cams as well to go with that, some new content coming, and also my socials at HTFTV8 on Instagram and Twitter as well. So yeah, really appreciate if anybody could come over and show the support. But yeah,
no, happy days. And people sure do go and check out Huddersfield Town Fan TV. Ryan's doing some amazing stuff, up and coming on the YouTube scene as well. So let's get him firing on all cylinders. And then the man who representing the Bluebirds, Cardiff City, we have Big Bad Nath in. How are you doing?
I am doing very well, thank you, Dan. Thanks for having me here once again. The last time we were laying into them a lot, but this time, boy, are we going to be laying into them even further. Yeah, if you want to check out my channel, links in the description, I presume. Check it out if you want to. It's pretty much just a moan session at the moment. So happy days. We'll get onto it, as well as some of the other sides in the championship in this live stream as well. Bring it on. Definitely.
As I said, the links are in the description of this video, so please do go check the guests out. We are expecting a Hull fan to join us who potentially may not. And I know Lee said he'll be coming over as soon as he can. But he was finishing a live show as well, and he was telling people to come on over. Come on over, babe. That song we made then. But no, Ryan, I'll come to you first. Huddersfield, let's talk about the position. You've managed to get yourself from looking like it was a contest between you and Wigan for a survival of the shittest, as I like to call it. But, yes, there's only a point between you and rock bottom. But you're starting to see maybe a turn in the tide, or, scrap that question, actually. We'll get to that. What have you made of the season so far, pre-January?
Yeah, it's been absolutely woeful this season. It really has, and actually, not just on the field, off it as well. Can I just add, because we've had a lot of issues off the field with decision. Too many wrong decisions for me from the board. I think that the ownership situation is by far ideal. Of course, it's just been a complete and utter disaster. It really has, and the fact that we're in this position is just unforgivable at the moment. And I just think that when you set low standards, like we've got no, it proves that we've got no ambition, no vision, no nothing in this football club at the moment. And I just think that it's been awful to watch at times. Like I said, we've switched managers, and yeah, we knew how big of the decision was to change our manager and obviously get the right appointment in. Again, going for somebody that's just cheap, basically. Like I said, what we did in the summer, we started the season, right? We started the season. We needed to get players in, and we decided to get players in, but not to the quality that you need in this division, of course. And of course, again, going on the cheap. And when you put it together, if you do that, then you're only going to be ending up in you're only going to end up in one position where we are now. So yeah, I mean, I'm just completely blank at the moment. I don't really know what to say, but it's not good at all, and it is difficult. And we need to just, obviously we have made some good signings in January, but that's no excuse as to where we are now. We should never be in this position from where we were last season, of course. And just with a bit more backing in the summer, there was no reason why we couldn't have been up there again. But of course, we didn't choose to back the manager that was in charge, and of course he decided to go a week before the season started, which, as much as I despise that decision by Carlos, of course he did surpass expectations by doing what he did last season with us on a very limited budget.
Yeah,
and he wanted just a bit of backing this season, this season coming, and he didn't get it, so he decided to go. And of course, yeah, but. Yeah, that's all I've got to say, really. It's just an absolute shambles from top to bottom. The club is just rotten from top to bottom, in my opinion. I just think that we need a complete refresh here. And of course, I don't want to be having a refresh in League One, but that's where I feel we'll be going.
Trust me, going down a division and having a refresh isn't all bad. I mean, look where we are. I'm not, I'm not saying that everyone's going to follow that same model, and if especially mention two words, Lee Bromby, I've just made your nightmares come true by saying that, haven't I? Do you lay the blame at him and Dean Hoyle, or for you, does the manager, with the way Carlos leaving, sort of have an effect, a bit of a knock-on effect?
Look, I don't like putting the blame on one person, because that's not right, is it? A football club is a group of people. Obviously, everyone's responsible in their own way, right? I think it is a multitude of those things. Lee Bromby, okay, Dean Hoyle. It's a tricky one because Dean Hoyle. Without Dean Hoyle, we wouldn't. Obviously, with the situation with our current owner before, with Hodgkinson, of course. His business is going kaput. Obviously, Dean Hoyle had to step back in again. So if we wouldn't have had Dean, then where would we have been now, of course? So there's a hindsight with that. And then, of course, you have got the, the manager situation. I go back to it. I didn't like the way Carlos left. I'm not going to deny that, and I will not change that stance. Because if he knew before that point that he wasn't going to be backed in this window, right? Because obviously it was a week before the season started, and our squad was shaken up to be how it was. So I don't understand the timing of the how he left. So I'll never forgive him for that. And then of course we took a chance on Schofield, which it was a chance, because you have to. Because the season was so close to starting, right? You had to have, for me, you had to just try someone that was already at the football club to see what happened. Of course, that didn't work, and then of course we hired somebody that's even worse. And don't get me going on that. But we'll probably save that for a bit longer. But yeah, that's my question. It's a multitude of things for me. And Bromby, I'm sorry, but we need a refresh, and it includes him going as well. Because it's just not good enough. He should be nowhere near a football club. Yeah. See, he's just left me speechless. Even when I think about Lee Bromby, it leaves me speechless, because I'm that angry by his decision making off the field that are just it's not just one mistake; it's just countless rubbish decision making, and it's just not good enough. And of course, Dean Hoyle, like I say, there's no. I go back to it. The ownership at the minute, it's completely up in there. There's no communication. We don't have a clue what's going on. Of course, Dean Hoyle wants to sell. We have no communication with what's going on there. So the communication is completely non-existent as well. So, yeah, awful times, awful.
I bet. If it's not Fleming, Carlos, it's Lee Bromby. If it's not Lee Bromby, it's Dean Hoyle. If it's not Dean Hoyle, it's John Moss. That's because of Luke's in the chat. So I'm getting the John Moss jabs in because he's a Forest fan, isn't he? So I have to get him in. Lee's in with us, obviously representing Blackpool. Big up to your fan self. How are you doing, sir?
Representing in the house tonight, Blackpool.
Hey.
The
DJ Lee.
The Football League is upside down, isn't it? It's upside down. It's all upside down. Blackpool are top of the league, second. Fantastic. Just where we want to be. Just behind Huddersfield.
No, you all right, Lee? Yeah.
Oh, brilliant, Dan. Absolutely brilliant. I've never been better.
Can't smell.
I've just been all live stream. I couldn't get off, honestly. We've been Appleton out. We are all here. Jesus Christ. We got bloody Huddersfield coming on Saturday, and God, if we can't beat them.
Oh, it's good. It's going to be
a goal line technology last time at Huddersfield. Thank God theirs was crap because it said the ball wasn't over the line. The Huddersfield fans have been going mental at Blackpool fans. It's not our goal line technology. It was your bloody goal line technology. You can't blame us for that. But yeah, it's a big game. Nobody
put 20p in the meter at Huddersfield. That's what it is. These Yorkshire people, tat as a crab's arse, aren't they, Ryan?
Yeah,
both of our clubs are hating Nottingham Forest, of course, because Nottingham Forest have destroyed Huddersfield, basically, haven't they? Beat them in the playoffs, and then taken all the best players and taken the manager and they've actually killed Huddersfield, and they haven't done us any favours either.
No, you've got
taking
Josh Bowler.
Yes, they've given us back, but taking Bowler and just shoving him out to Greece, for Christ's sake. Our best player. Why? They don't even want him, for God's sake. No. We'll have him off you. We'll take him off you. Transfer deadline day. And I tell you what, we don't want him. We have no place for him at Forest. So
yeah, it's just pure sabotage at the end of the day, isn't it?
Yeah, it has. It has indeed.
And then even Olympiacos don't want him, so they've given him us back on loan. But it's we've lost 3 months and we're down at the bottom, and I don't know whether we can get out of it, to be honest. We're all ready now. I mean, a lot of people have been saying over the past few months that, a few wins will move you up the league, because it was tight. But, people forget that that tightness expands as the games go on. It gets a wider gap. I mean, the first game of the season, you're only 3 points off the top of the league if you lose, aren't you? And then as the games go on, you get further and further away, and it all starts to separate out. And now we're actually 3 points away from safety. Both us and Huddersfield are in the same boat. We were now 3 points behind Cardiff. So, if either one of us lose on whichever one of us lose, if one of us does, then we're even further away, aren't we?
Yeah.
Especially if Cardiff win, we're going to be 6 points.
That's not happening.
Well, that's what I was going to say, Niff. I mean, again, let people. Oh well, no, I've already said that about letting people know where to follow you. Jeez, I need to remember what I'm doing, mate. Don't know my arse from my hands. I mean, Cardiff, South Wales. Even in the summer in Wales, you struggle to get a tan, and right now, you don't want a tan either, but especially from what I'm hearing at Cardiff City Football Club. Where's it all gone wrong?
One place, and that is crystal clear, and it has been crystal clear ever since they took over in 2011. Vincent Tan, Mehmet Dalman, and Ken Chu are complete viruses in football. Yes, I know the man to the right of me may be really, really concerned about, especially slandering owners, considering what you guys had to put up with for all those years under the disgrace of the Oyston regime. But the way that it has gone about in the last few seasons, where these idiots have completely placed us into managed decline and making all of these shambolic decisions, has just been an absolute disgrace. I will keep it mainly at this season, just to keep a roundup of it. So over the summer, obviously last season ended by Mick McCarthy getting sacked, losing 2 derbies within a matter of weeks, playing some of the worst football. one of the worst Cardiff squads in a generation as well, losing 9 on the bounce, which is the first time it's ever happened at this club as well. And also, that's a league record too. They bring in Steve Morrison as the first team coach, going for the cheap option, trying to revitalise these young players. History was made for all the wrong reasons last year as well in the South Wales derby, which was just an absolute disgrace considering our record in the fixture as well. Then it comes to the summer. He was allowed to do a massive reset considering the age of the squad as well. Allowed to bring in his own players, but not allowed to spend anything, may I add. And then mainly because of the financial situation, considering we were in a transfer embargo last January as well. And then all of a sudden, they said we had no money, yet they just pluck out 1.4 million out of thin air for Callum Robinson. I want to know exactly where that money came from, considering we're 108 million pounds in debt, which still hasn't been cleared, and that they promised to clear ever since they've been in charge in 2011. Then they back him, had an okay start to the season. Many Cardiff fans were happy because we were going to allow this process to take place. And then all of a sudden, on a Sunday morning, bang, Steve Morrison sacked. No reason given at all. Everyone thought it was behind the scenes, but it was based on results, which no one could understand. Once again, the club go on for a cheap option, had 8 weeks to hire a manager, didn't interview one person, mainly because of all of the shocking stories. And it's starting to come out a lot now of the way that Vincent Tan is very controlling over his managers and also the board as well. I think the biggest example is when he gives his instructions. For example, when you play this system, I want this player to play. I think the 2 most shambolic ones that have come out recently, this one's an actual old one, is why hasn't David Marshall scored any goals? That was in our Premier League season. Shambolic opinion. And then we've had one from the other week where Vincent Tan, after we got relegated from the Premier League, got all the players into a meeting, came up straight into the room with his trousers pulled right up, as you all know him, goes into the room and says, right, I want you to score goals. I don't care where you are, just shoot. If you're a centre-back, if you're a goalkeeper, just shoot. And then he puts on this video of all these goals where these players score from the halfway line. It is absolutely incredible. Then, because they didn't hire a manager, they had to go with Mark Hudson. He's won us the league as captain. Yeah, he was a complete disaster class. No wins in 9. He was clearly out of his depth, which is just sad to see as well. I mean, obviously, Hudson from his Huddersfield days. What was your thoughts of him actually as where he was caretaker manager for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, he did okay, but like you say, he had not much experience, so he didn't look that comfortable, if I'm honest with you. But it is a shame, though, isn't it? Because he's a great guy, and he seems a nice man, great. Obviously he played for us as well, of course. And he's just not cut out to be a championship mate. He needs to go a bit. I think he needs to go a bit further down. Maybe League One, maybe learn his trade a bit, because he's just not tactically good enough, unfortunately. But he's a nice guy. But like I say, I go back to it. Nice guys don't do well in football. You've got to know what you're doing as well, of course. Without that means, but that's my thoughts on it.
You've got to be. Sometimes you've got to be a bit of a dirty bastard. You've got to literally do this hard work, and you've got to play hard to get. It's a bit like a football club fighting against another football. It's like fighting against a mate for the same girl, or or whatever the situation.
Yeah, exactly.
You're sort of in that. You've got dirty tactics. I'm going to get that result over you. When players are dropping like a sack of shit, or slowing the game down and things like that.
I think as well, I thought it was a massive disgrace. Obviously, when they brought him in, failed to back him, then we had obviously that free window transfer embargo coming through, which, by the way, I don't know where they got the money from, but they lifted it in the end, which is completely their fault because everyone knows that they should have made that payment. If anyone knows the legal system, you pay your bills first, then you fight it in court. You don't just hold out, make the payments worse, and then get punishments like that, because they're not going to... The EFL have already said they're not lifting the free window embargo. Bearing in mind, ever since Vincent Tan has been charged, this is now our 5th transfer embargo, which is an utter disgrace. Wow. That will be free in the future. Then we had one last season. Then we also had one in 2015-16 when we overspent an Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, which was another catastrophic appointment. But
do you think Tan's to blame then for all the stuff with the, like, I know this might be like a touchy subject with the Cardiff
absolutely.
and not, like, is it Nantes or
Nantes, yeah.
like, do you think Tan's at fault for this? Oh, well, we tried to sign him and what's happened was unfortunate, but he's not our player, so you're not getting any money.
I'm gonna go for it on a 70%, 30% basis. I do think obviously they were right to do what they did, and the support they did give in the end was good, and all of the stuff that has been in the courts is obviously a disgrace and goes to show how it wasn't Cardiff City's fault, and really, really sad, obviously, for the situation and everything. But at the end of the day, the way that both clubs handled it was shocking, and they should have made the payment 100% for me, and that's why we're in this situation now. But it really infuriates me with the Hudson situation and the fact that they're not going to be able to go out and get another manager now, because they have once again thrown another club legend under the bus and completely ruined their reputation. They have done it with so many managers, so many players, and it's a disgrace. They did it with Sean Morrison a few weeks ago as well, our club captain, who got us to the Premier League. It's shocking. It's an absolute disgrace, and these idiots need to be forced out as soon as possible.
No, that's a fair shout. If you're listening, Tan, little shit, right?
Yes.
You want it out. You want it out. It's time to go.
Is this all down though? Is this all down to the EFL at the end of the day? We're seeing this time and time again, aren't we? We've had the problems with Derby, and obviously Cardiff are having their own absolute nightmare. We had a nightmare, obviously, at Blackpool. The EFL didn't listen to all
a proper test.
Yeah, what's the point of what is the point? And the thing with it all is they punished Vincent Tan or whatever, but the main people that are suffering are the Cardiff fans, and the main people that are suffering are the Derby fans, and the main people that are suffering are the Bury fans, and all these other fans that have the clubs ruined, and we're all the same. I found this as I've been a YouTuber now, and we've met loads of different fans from different clubs, and we all go through the same sort of shit basically. We all follow our local club, we all follow England, or we follow Cardiff, we follow Wales or whatever we follow, and we don't have a lot of joy out of anything that we really watch.
Definitely not.
It's mainly depression, and you get the odd.
I don't know what you guys are on about, to be honest. I haven't a fucking clue.
Yeah, you've been quite lucky over the past few years, but that will come to an end. It just.
Oh yeah, it will. Yeah.
You're not Man United, and one day you'll be back there and wondering where it all went wrong and everything else. And but it's kind of through our lives. That's what it is. But these owners come in and literally just ruin our lives. So what is this test? Because it doesn't work, does it?
Exactly.
It's so flawed. It's so frustrating. I just don't believe how the EFL can continue to operate really as they do. And
it's a
it's a bit like FIFA, isn't it? They're the same, just corrupt. The whole thing is corrupt, isn't it? It's all backhanders and.
The thing I'd like to add as well is obviously they brought in this fitting and proper test, and they brought it in 10 years too late. I mean, at the end of the day, they have even admitted that these owners, for example, would not have passed the test. Oystons, Vincent Tan, the ones who are owning Scunthorpe now, Bury, all of these businessmen. In fact, you can probably chuck Mel Morris into there as well. The way he just completely pumped it all into Derby, broke every rule in the book, and now look at the situation they're in. They're in that League One graveyard of massive clubs that have been completely ruined by their owners. Chancery is another one as well.
Do you not think though owners should have to, maybe there should be, I don't know, a 3-year sort of system or a 2-year system where they're monitored and they make sure they don't do all these crazy things that they come in and do, and they got to kind of prove that not only have they got the money and everything they said they were going to do, but when they actually come into the club that they do things the right way and don't just ruin a club. Surely there must be some sort of monitoring,
sort of collateral, like a loan shark would do. If you can't pay that, you've got, so much collateral that we can take.
Do you want to know another option that I think would be a good one? I know they have a similar option with the 50+1 in Germany. However, there is also flaws to that system. I think the main principled fan club should be able to veto any decision that the board attempts to make. A major example, the color change for us, the badge change, which bear in mind, they did change the badge back to it's pretty much got a worm at the bottom as I describe it. But
yeah, looks
the
like a
Cardiff
worm
fans
with a dragon.
We don't
doesn't
even
it?
like our badge.
From the Bluebirds to the Dragons, the Red Dragons,
Disgusting.
it was just, it's unbelievable, isn't it?
Mm.
I don't know how you cope with that, to be honest. You know,
We
it's
don't.
just, it was just crazy, wasn't it? I mean, you know,
Yeah.
how can you go from being the Bluebirds to the Red Dragons? And why would that even be I don't know. It's just, why would you take over a club that's you know, historically the Bluebirds and everything about it, and then come in and then start changing all that? The signs were not good from the start, were they? Really,
Exactly.
you got to be honest.
I mean, at the end of the day, when Vincent Tan actually took over in 2011, all the Cardiff fans were relieved because we had just came off the back of a massive protest trying to force Peter Ridsdale out because we had winding up orders because we were in massive debt as a result of A, overspending, and B, building the new stadium. And even then, before that, we had to get Sam Hammam out because of all his catastrophic decisions and failure to build a new stadium. So that is pretty much there. 24 years now of catastrophic ownership. Yes, okay, we had an all right spell under Hammam, but under Ridsdale, yes, he did balance it. But I think out of the three now, Tan has been the worst. A big example of that is under the management and how there's been no footballing brain on the board. For example, Hammam sacked one manager in his time. Peter Ridsdale sacked 0 managers. Vincent Tan, we are now on our 13th manager.
Wow. I'm not being funny, Ryan, but you're probably listening to this thinking Lee Bromby and Dean Oil aren't all that bad, really, compared to these two.
Yeah, absolutely. But our finances aren't exactly stable itself. Like I said, I go back to it. Dean Hoyle wants to
Why are your finances so bad? Because you've been Premier League, haven't you? What happened?
I mean,
where's the parachute payments gone?
Yeah, well, this is the problem because we don't know. We've wasted so much money, got so much, players that are just not good enough. People on the board that shouldn't even be there. Too many members of staff in the club. It's a multitude of things, to be honest. But like I said, I go back to it. Dean Hoyle wants to sell, so obviously our finances aren't actually stable, even though Dean Hoyle is still obviously, keeping the club afloat until. But we don't have a clue what's going on. But I go back to the fit and proper test and all this. I don't think there is one, is there? Because they can't be for some owners to be able to get into football clubs, and plus when they're in, then they start trying to completely change the football club. And they've got too much power, and they shouldn't have too much power. But yeah.
No, they should. I mean, Lee.
That's a good point here. Yes. Now, at the moment, obviously, you know the trouble, obviously, Blackpool fans went through with the Oystons and the absolute disgrace of the Oystons and suing fans and all the rest of it. And, suing a guy for just putting up a newspaper because he'd rubbed out "We are not thieves" and made it "We are thieves" and put it up on Sky. And he was super 25 grand or whatever.
So I feel so sorry for you guys that you had to go through with that, because all we had to put up with is when we were having protest banners. This was during the main red bit. They would just confiscate it all.
Yeah.
And
well,
then in the end, they had to
this is why we started
boycotts.
boycotting. Once he started suing our family, then that's when we did boycott. And that's why there's a lot of, the fans that kept going are kind of not liked by the Blackpool fans who did boycott. But at the moment, there's quite a lot of fans are sort of getting on the back of Simon Sadler, and Simon Sadler so far has come in. He hasn't got the billions.
Yeah.
He manages $1 billion hedge fund, but that doesn't mean he's a billionaire. It's a different thing. Is it managing one and having all that money yourself? So he's rich, but we don't know how rich he is. But he's not multi-millions, billions rich. So he's doing things on a budget, and he's done lots of positive things. I mean, I can even just a pitch at Bloomfield Road. There are pictures of when the Oystons were in charge of Blackpool, and the pitch was just covered in sand. And it was like, we used to sing "We're Blackpool FC, we play on the beach," because it was literally just covered in sand. And now it's the best pitch we've had in years. He's built a new Moretti lounge and a Peroni lounge, which kind of, people can go in and spend a bit of extra money. They're getting loads of money in from sponsorship. They've got the Blackpool Tower in. They're doing stuff with us. It's just loads of money coming in, and they've done loads of things. And they've got obviously the new training ground that they're wanting to. That's going to cost them 20 million, which we've been waiting for since Stanley Matthews used to play for us, because we play on like by the sea, and it's always windy and over near the old airport where it blows a gale, and it's just not fit really for purpose. So that's all plans to be built and trying to do that. They've also got to do the east stand because that was a temporary stand put in by the Oystons just because we had
the away one.
Quality away
yeah, that was if I don't know if you remember, but we used to call it the Gene Kelly stand because it was a singing in the rain stand because you just got rained on because it was like a golf stand basically. But when we got into the Premier League, we didn't even have a media centre.
I was going to say, then Valhalla Rain Max became my best mate when I used to do Blackpool away.
Yeah, so we had to build this stand in the summer, and it is all pile driven in, and it's a proper, they did it all. How they did it throughout the summer, I'll never know, but it's still all the seats are on stanchions, and the whole thing has only got a safety certificate for about another 18 months, and then it's going to be shut down. So they've got to build. They have to build this east stand, and it's going to cost like another 30 million. So they've got a 50 million investment, and the fans are on the back because obviously we're at the bottom of the league, and they actually said at the start of the season that we haven't really got the finances to pump into the squad as well. But my argument has always been with it is when they took over the club, they knew that those jobs had to be done. They knew that the stand had to be sorted out. They knew that the training ground had to be sorted out. And if they were taking over, with that, knowing they weren't going into it blind, suddenly saying, "Oh my God, we need a stand. They knew this, but they also knew they had to run the football side of things. And we have the mantra, and I suppose you all have that, football is first, and it is first. It is the first thing you've got to concentrate on, because if the football's crap and you're down the bottom, don't matter how much money you put in elsewhere, if you're down the bottom, fans won't go and watch it. Everybody will go and watch a winning side. Yeah. Everybody will go and watch a side that gets into the Premier League. But as you come back down again, all the, the fair weather fans don't stick with it. It's only the diehards that stick through thick and thin. And all they bought in the summer was one player, Dom Thompson, who we're not even playing him at the moment. A left back we got from Brentford.
Norwich or Brentford.
Brentford, yeah. Not anybody that, is just, we were probably the same as you. Who? Dom Thompson, never bloody heard him, have we? So we never sign anybody that anybody's ever heard of. Even like Charlie Adam, when we signed Charlie Adam, nobody had heard of him. They've heard of him because he did so well in the Championship. But before, he was just a young lad at Rangers that wasn't really getting in much. He had promise, but that was about it. Turned into a superstar. People like, DJ Campbell was a bit of a known name, but he wasn't.
Oh, that gives me bad memories, that does.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I know. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm bringing it in about the Wembley final, but those names were not household names, and we never sign. Blackpool never sign anybody that you've ever heard of, really. But and we have the lowest budget. We have the lowest budget. We pay I think we're paying about an average of £4,000 a week now. I was looking at a table of the wages in the Championship, and there's some players on 60 odd grand a week. We're paying £4,000, which is good, because when the Oystons were here, you used to get a lot less, and you used to get £70 a week in the summer. You had to sign a thing that you got 70 quid throughout the summer. So that's how bad it was.
Blackpool, you only get paid when it's like mid-season, when it's in the actual season. As soon as Pleasure Beach is open, you'll get your wage as well.
We were playing Sheffield United a few weeks ago, and they had a player that they'd signed for 22 million. I can't remember his name, but he was 22 million pounds.
Ryan Brewster from Liverpool.
Yeah, it might have been, but
I thought he was worth like 40 million.
Sheffield United could have bought all our team and our stadium and the hotel and the training ground for about the 12 million that Simon Sadler paid for him. So we're in a league where we shouldn't even be in. You know what I mean? We're in the Premier League. We shouldn't have been in the Premier League, really. It was a miracle. Do you think,
then, Lee, that your fans, with everything like you've said, the fact that if they can do this stand, if they can do the training ground, what's happening on the pitch in terms of with the players, if you go down, you go down, you can accept that, as long as the turnaround in regards to the whole picture of the club is in the best interests of Simon Sadler?
Yeah, it's a funny one, really, because you don't know the history of Blackpool, but when Blackpool got relegated out of the second division, in back in the 70s, Blackpool were always a bit of a boing team between League One and League Two, as it was then. And my dad would always say, "Oh, Blackpool are a great second division side, but we're just not good enough anymore for the first division." Whereas when he used to watch them as as a boy, when it was Matthews and Morty, we were one of the best teams in the country, because at that time all the wages were just at the same money, the same level. There was a maximum wage, and people, the big players chose to come and play at Blackpool because Blackpool was like, fantastic. We had Frank Sinatra coming, and it was the best place in the country probably to come. Blackpool was famous,
the Vegas of the North.
Yeah, so they used to come to Blackpool. It was a major draw to come to Blackpool. But once they got rid of the minimum, the wage, then obviously we couldn't afford to compete with the big city clubs, and we became smaller and smaller. But when we got relegated from the second division in 1971, I think it was, we went down. Everybody expected Blackpool just to bounce back, but it took 30 years. And it's like that's like a generation or more of 30 years.
Does it have an element of that then, Lee? Like what Fox is saying here? Is there that sort of, when you went to the Prem, you weren't ready for it, it sort of affected you long term, maybe?
Well, it affected us because the Oysters didn't do with it what they should have done with it, and that's actually used it to. Does
that also leak into a fan side though? Because sometimes
just because we have a fear now of
feel like.
Yeah, we have a fear of going down and never getting back up again.
Yeah.
Basically, if we go down this season and we don't get back in the Championship for 30 years, I'll be pushing up daisies. I won't be here. Do you know what I mean? 30 years from now, I might be, but I'll be clinging in. I'll be clinging in on, for dear life at that time. My dad died at 77. My other granddad died at 85 or something. So 30 years from now, I may never see it again. And
still be stuck behind a DJ booth, Lee.
Yeah, still DJ. There's like a skeleton there. Yeah, still
just there going like that, and then arm goes out a joint. Oh.
But there is a fear that that if we go down, we may never get back up, and it's not easy to get back out of that League One, because you saw how hard it was for Sunderland, to get back up, and Ipswich is still down there and struggling to get back, and
Sheffield Wednesday, Bolton. There's a lot of clubs that have had success. Down there,
Portsmouth, Plymouth, there's big clubs down there. So to get back up again, and we did fantastic to get back up, and they are ambitious, they want to stay up. So I don't understand why. We gave, we've made two mistakes really. The board have made serious mistakes this summer, because they got Michael Appleton back as manager, and if you don't know, Michael Appleton came into Blackpool after Ian Holloway. We all loved him. He felt like the Oysters couldn't drive him away fast enough, and he went and took Crystal Palace up, and he took Kevin Phillips, who scored the penalty that took Crystal Palace up, our player, on loan. And so we got Michael Appleton, and he lasted 10 weeks. He went to he went to the Venkies. He left us, and when they announced it was Michael Appleton, it went down. He didn't go down very well, I've got to be honest. We had a terrible pre-season. We got thrashed by Leeds, thrashed by Rangers, thrashed by Everton, and it wasn't looking very good. We signed one player, and then on top of everything else, we've had like loads of injuries, to key players, and 8 players sent off. 8 players, 8 red cards. Even though one was, Lavery, who was strangled on the pitch by Sheffield United and got a red card for being attacked. We got Gary Medine with a red card at Burnley, but it was something that happened on the sidelines retrospectively, wasn't it? He got a red card for that. And we got young Sonny Carey sent off. We were at Watford on Saturday, and CJ Hamilton beat the right back, took him on in their half, went past him, tripped him up in their half, and got a yellow card. And Sonny Carey at Burnley tripped your player up in your half, not in our half, in your half, then got attacked by the player from behind by the player that he sent down, and he got sent off for a red card.
Yeah, Ian Matson got sent off.
But it was only it was a tackle in your half. It wasn't a red card. There was no. It wasn't a violent 2-footed going in. It was just he just took his legs. He didn't hurt him. He was up pushing him over from the minute. He just got straight back up, didn't he, and pushed him over. So the tackle on CJ Hamilton by, the Watford player, we'd have got, if that had been us, we'd have been sent off. But he just gets a yellow card, and that's the difference. We're getting red cards for things that most clubs just get yellows or get spoken to, for it. So he's not had that, but he's not popular, and he's just not saying things or doing things that's making the crowd love him. Somebody was complaining on my stream today that on Saturday we all went off for a bit of a drinks break while there was trainers on, and their manager was having a go at them, telling them where to go, where to be. Michael Appleton never even spoke to our players. Well, they're all having a drink on. Not even spoke to them. So that doesn't go down very well with fans, does it? You want to see a passionate manager, telling the players what to do, going mental when you score, going mental when shouting at them. He doesn't do any of that. So it's not popular. And the board seem like they're going to stick with him. And at the moment, he's looking like he's taking us down. And so I don't know. We're not a very happy lot at Blackpool at the moment. We're we're getting vocal, and the trouble is we were so powerful against the Oystons for a different reason, but the fan power of Blackpool was unbelievable. Nobody's ever done a 5-year boycott before, have they? It's a bloody, I'll tell you, it's a long time, and I've said loads of times, 5 years. I was growing my little one who was 8. Who was I've said before, was like asking at that time, was talking about Bloomfield Bear and what he had for his dinner, and how does he tie his shoelaces and where does he live, to bringing him back the day after. If you think 5 years, so it's like from that match to the next match, he's been at academies and he's all opinionated football and he's telling me this player and that, and I'm thinking he's not talking about bloody Bloomfield Bear anymore, is he? But I've missed 5 years of being with my son, so it was a massive thing we did. So we believe that we can, the fans are like militant, really like militant, and I tell you what, if we lose against Huddersfield on Saturday, or if we're losing, you're going to be at a place that's going to be so toxic, I tell you, and we're loud. Blackpool fans, you've been there before. For 9,000 people, we make a noise of like 50,000 people when we're on song. But if we're angry, we're like 50,000 angry. It's going to be horrendous, honestly, if we're losing, because it's going to be so toxic, honestly. You'll
like
love
a
it,
rat in a trap in a tunnel.
Yeah, it's a nightmare coming. So, expect that if you're winning on Saturday, because it's going to be, oh my God.
I mean, Ryan, you were saying there about Huddersfield, and we're saying how January's come about. You've took Matt Lawton on loan from us. You've took Anthony Knockhart. I think you've had a few of your loan players come back from their respective from clubs as well.
Yeah.
So there's a bit more to play with in terms of the players that are available. How do you see it, though? Do you still think there's still key areas that need additions?
Well, of course, we have had the big blow, obviously, of Lee Nichols. I mean, it looks like he's going to be out for a while, our goalkeeper now, of course. So,
at least you're not going to lose him in January, I suppose. That's another
No,
blow.
we're not, but this is a massive blow for us because we know how key he's been. And, of course, so even though the young lad that played, obviously last week, he actually did all right at Hull, to be Bill Kopic is the youngster.
Yeah, we did actually abandon the game against Huddersfield, which they're very angry. I think they're still angry about it now.
Yes, I was there.
We had a demonstration on that day against it was the last game of the season, wasn't it? And we just all, there was a massive, there was a fire drill, apparently. We're blaming it on a fire drill, but it was kind of organised with a lot of players. People were going to go on the pitch at half time. and we did, and the game got abandoned, didn't it? So you didn't actually get your points, did you not? I don't think it really mattered that much to you in the end, in the big shake-up, but you didn't get your win or whatever because it was a abandoned match. But I don't think there will be a half-time. We're not that bad at the moment. But it'll be loud and noisy. And a few people have also said, I've noticed a Newcastle fan saying that they were doomed, and a new manager, a new approach, it can all change quickly. And I think that's what Blackpool fans have been saying. But unfortunately, we've signed this Appleton on a 4-year deal, and I don't think they can afford to sack him. I don't think they can afford to get rid of him, and that's the problem. I mean,
you've got Wag. Didn't you get Martin Wag on? Is he permanent or is he on loan from?
No, all our signings that have come in have been loans, by the way. So we're not spending any money. So, and this is what go back to it. They're all loans, and it's all for the short term, which you understand because they put these players that have come in have got a point to prove. Of course they have, because they've had a bad time lately, and obviously they've come here to try and revive their career. But so obviously Waghorn actually came on Saturday. Obviously did okay. To be fair, he came on quite late, but he did okay. But I go back to we should have been preparing for the season in the summer, not now. These players are going to help us, of course, But when you haven't got a manager in that is tactically absolutely garbage, to put it another way, then we're not going to get anywhere, I'm afraid. And this is the bigger problem for me. It's the manager for me.
Do you not think as well, when you're trying to get players in and you're like bottom of the league or third bottom at this time of the season, this is the worst time. And this is a time where you can't really get the players you need, because you can talk them into it in the summer, because we all believe in the summer, don't we, that we're going to be top of the league. But the reality is, and they'll be looking at the reality and seeing where you are. Probably, if I was a player, I'd probably be looking on fans' message boards and seeing what the general feeling of the club was. And if they're looking on your thing and everybody's, unhappy, and you're thinking, do I really want to like go here and walk into this nightmare at this club? I just think I agree with you that summertime, where you're saying, is the time to sort it out, isn't it? And if you don't, football is a bastard, isn't it? It kicks you. It
old horrible bastard.
It will, and it will kick you in the nuts.
It sounds so much better coming from you, Ryan, with that Yorkshire twang. You sound like Sean Bean, you dirty big Yorkshire bastard.
Oh, no. Yeah, it's true though. It's true. Yeah. It's just January's not the best time to be doing business. I go back to, you need to be doing your business in the summer. Like I said, we did get players in the summer, but again, just the cheap options, and look where we are. So
yeah. Well, that's it, isn't it? It's cheap options. Just send you. I always say, like, if you're in League One, you need to start getting Championship players, don't you? That are too good for League One. And it's kind of the same in the Championship. You've either got to get players that are really good in the Championship and are experienced and know how to deal with it, or players that are even too good for the Championship, if you can find them. But for us, it's trying to find them at 50p. It's trying to find them on freeze and all that you can't find these players that are too good for the Championship, can you?
Absolutely. I feel your pain. Yeah, I do.
Yeah. And that's the trouble, isn't it? We're just, we're signing, you're the same. And that's why you and us are down where we are, because we haven't signed players good enough to keep us up. And it's killing us, isn't it, really? It's killing you. And I can't believe Huddersfield are down there, especially after being in the playoffs last season. And, I thought they'd be. Yeah. And I keep thinking that you're going to eventually get your act together. And we're, in my, how I'm seeing it at the moment, my mind is saying Cardiff cannot be down there. They're too good to be down there. I'm thinking Huddersfield are going to get their act together. West Brom are going to get their act together. Wigan maybe not there, but I'm thinking I can't see three teams that we can get above.
We're going to shout.
But we lost to Wigan because we got a man sent off after 17 minutes. You know what I mean?
It's weird. This is the thing I don't get about Blackpool this year, because you've been so inconsistently inconsistent. Like, you can get this sharp result against Wigan, but then you turn up and absolutely trouse Forest 4-1, and it's like,
It's mad, isn't it? But he doesn't play. Insane. The team that played against Forest, he changed it all. I've defended Michael Appleton quite a lot. Saying that it's not all his fault. He didn't get the players. He's had injuries. He had suspend. He's had players sent off, and he's had a real bad, deal of it all so far. Yeah. But Saturday, his team selection was just. It just made no sense to me. On my video, it came up. We're on the coach, and I do a little thing with Jane. We talk about it, and neither of us think what is this? What's he done here? Because we've had this lad Andy Lyons, who we signed at the start of the season, but couldn't bring him in till December because he was in Ireland and their season couldn't finish, and we couldn't have him at that time. He's ended up as Player of the Year in Ireland, and he's a right back. We've been crying out for a right back because Jordan Gabriel, we got from Forest, fell off a stool and broke his leg or something at a party, and he's been out all season. So we've had no right back. We've had Connolly covering that role. So we've all been, everybody's been saying, when Lyons comes in, it's going to change. Right. Okay. So we're waiting for this guy. He plays against Forest. He looks, the right back can't get around him. He plays superb against Forest. So we thought, right, he'll be playing against Watford, and Connolly, who was on a suspension, can move into midfield, is where he prefers to play. But he doesn't. He puts Connolly back at right back and leaves him on the bench. And you're thinking, what's the point of us waiting all this time for this lad to come in? He plays brilliant against Forest, doesn't play him. Same with Jerry Yates. He's not been scoring. He's been on a bit of a run of not scoring. And he gets a goal against Forest. And Jerry Yates, when he gets a goal, gets more. You know, it's almost as if the monkey's off his back. So every
Yeah.
Blackpool fan knows that Jerry Yates has scored a goal. He's going to get one at Watford. And he's got Bowler back. He's got Bowler back with him. And Bowler, he'll be thinking, bloody hell, Bowler knows where to put the ball for me. And I'm not playing out on the right wing like I have been doing. So I might get a few goals playing as a striker rather than a right winger. And he's on the bench. You know, and he plays...
Madness.
He plays this Morgan Rogers from Man City, who's only just turned up like 3 days ago. He's a young kid, and he puts him straight in. It's just, well, then anyway. But
the mind boggles, doesn't it?
The mind does boggle, and so I think you can probably say at the moment Blackpool are down, so it must give you. I mean, I don't think we can pull 3 points back on you, Cardiff, at the moment. To be honest, I don't think we can get a bloody win to say.
Well, I was going to say, Nick, like, what do you make of January? Your January so far, and if it's not started already, when does it start?
When is it allowed to start? I mean, I'm loving listening to all you guys thinking like, oh, who are we going to sign for 50p? Who are we going to get from Manchester City? That rhymed oddly, but we're not allowed to sign anyone. We don't even have a manager. We're going to just employ again the guy who puts out the cones in training. No offense, Mark Hudson, but Dean Whitehead, he's been put at the caretaker role. He was only brought in the club a month ago as a coach.
Another one that's had a tie with Huddersfield and coming in and stepping up to the plate.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that. That's just dawned on me. Yeah. Probably another disaster. I think, when was it? Hudson was employed in November on the full-time basis. They'll probably employ him at the end of January. So give it 2 months. That takes us up to March, end of March. Yeah, he'll be gone by then. Then who are we going to be down to at that point? Mr. Blobby, Fireman Sam. Like, at the end of the day, who's going to be left to manage the club?
You'll be lucky to get Fireman Sam and Postman Pat, to be honest. You'll end up with something like Moana.
Oh, exactly. That's the worst. But yeah, I don't know where we're going to get it from, to be honest.
You're giving us hope. You're giving us hope. Thank you.
We are giving you hope. And in fact, I love going to Bloomfield Road. I really do, but I don't even know how we're going to get a result up there. I don't even know how we're going to get a result anywhere at the moment. Like this weekend,
like it was on Saturday. Trust me, you won't get anything up there apart from windswept and blown into the sea.
Exactly.
I was there for a wedding on Saturday. A friend got married at the chapel on the front.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's bad.
Jesus.
Why would you put a chapel on the front? Why would you do that? You know, it's the windiest, coldest. It's either, I always used to say this to people, it's either blowing a gale on the front, yeah. So you've got your wedding photographs and the bride's veils going all over the place, and it's just trying to take photographs on the seafront, not the place. Or it's a beautiful day. And if it's a beautiful day, then you've got somebody dressed up as Spider-Man in your wedding photographs, haven't you? Because there's all them nutters on the, or somebody with a giant condom on his head or something, isn't there? It's a place you don't want to be, in it? On a glorious day in the summer with all the hen parties and stag do's, and you're having your wedding photos. It's insane why they did it there.
It does not help. I had to dress up in like Harry Potter clothing while I was there. So my mate's in a suit with the Gryffindor tie or whatever he had. So I end up, I've got a cloak on with the Gryffindor badge on, tie on. I look like a reject. It was just ridiculous. I actually took my glasses off, and because I'm bald underneath, pretended I was just Voldemort. But then when they said, "Is there any reason why these two shouldn't be married?" I felt like I should have just pulled a sock out my pocket, chucked it at my mate, and said, "Ducky's free." But I thought, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Instead, I just said it should have been me. But hey ho, it were a good laugh. Good piss up afterwards. Went back to Fleetwood Cons afterwards.
Oh my God, you really lived it up then, didn't you? Hey?
Cons, that's it. Like that. But no, I mean, you guys, it's all doom and gloom at the moment. But I'll come to you first, Ryan. Do you see yourselves getting out of it? Do you have faith in the manager to turn the tide around for the Terriers?
Yeah, I mean, if you would have asked me this question a few games back, I probably would have said yes, because obviously we did win twice on the bounce at Christmas, and of course it looked like it was all going to be fine. We were going to go on a run and of course get out of it, and then it all came crashing down to earth again on New Year's Day when we obviously lost and then continued the trend of bottling the league 3 times in a row. Yes,
that's desperation, Dave. That's desperation there, taking Steve Bruce as manager. Jesus Christ.
On a podcast a few months ago, I said I'd take Mike Ashley as owner. That's how bad things have got here.
But yeah, what was this? Oh yeah, do I have faith in the manager? No, I do not, and I think I've made that quite clear. He's just not good enough. He's not good. He's not cut out to be a manager. He talks up the big and says that he's worked with these players in Germany. He's great, and he acts like he's Pep Guardiola. He's the most dilute. I've never actually, because I don't know about you guys, but I like a connection with a manager, my football club, and I've never actually had a connect. Well, this is the most unlikable, disconnected manager that I've ever known. We've had because he raised the plaudits of the fans in his press conference, all this, but he's not come over to us once. When we've obviously gone play on the road and obviously at home, he just goes straight down the tunnel after the gate. There's no acknowledgement at all from it, and like I say, tactically, he's just got no idea. I go back to it, his selections as well, questionable. Just, I fear for us because I just don't trust him to.
He's got to get out a jail-free card, though, hasn't he? Because if it goes wrong, he can pretend to be Scottish. If it goes all right, he can pretend to be German. So he's got a few trump cards he can play if everything goes.
It's just a complete and utter mess, and I just wish we could. The problem is, though, I don't think we can afford to sack him. I mean, I don't know what contract he's on, but I don't think it'll be on that one. But I still don't think we can afford to sack him. So we stuck with him. We obviously have had some players come through the door, which has given me a bit of hope. But
do you think you need to give him a summer and a pre-season?
No, I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters, Dan.
There was no second thought there, Ryan. It was just straight. No,
because I go back to it. We obviously, for example, the weekend we go 1-0 up, right, and great start to the game, and then we never actually try and go for a second goal. We just sit back, and then in the second half we sat back for 45 minutes. Yes, okay, it was the last kick of the game that we conceded, of course, and it was absolutely so annoying. But I go back to it. You've got to be killing off games, and he just seems to be. The way he sets out the team, you've got the mentality of the players right now is just once you get a goal, you sit back and you defend. I'm sorry, but that doesn't work. It doesn't work in this league. Okay, it might work in the odd occasion, but not in this. But yeah, he's totally out of his depth. He doesn't know what he's doing. Get me in the job. I'll do a better job. And I'll quite happily pack his bags if he wants me to, because I've just had enough of this guy. He's just the most deluded. Even when he comes on and does his press conference, I turn it off. I just can't be able to listen to it because he comes at the same rubbish every single week about how he's proud of the performance, how he, and all the. If you're proud of the performance after sitting back for 45 minutes in that second half at Hull on Saturday, it's just an absolute embarrassment, and nobody likes him. I've seen on, nobody likes him. And I'm not surprised because he's, like I said, I go back to it. He's just very, very. He's just one of those people that just get on your nerves. I don't know how to describe it. He does, and he just doesn't have a clue what he's doing. He's going to cost, like I said, he's cost us in the last 3 matches, and he's going to continue to cost us. So, God help us.
I know, manager. Get on your nerves. Get on your nerves. I know, manager. Get on your nerves. Get on your nerves.
We finally found that final nerve that Ryan's hit, and he's gone, you know what? No, I'm not having none of it. I'm firing this shit and I'm getting it off my system. You'll sleep better tonight, Ryan, for that. You'll sleep better tonight.
I love the fact you can't listen to his after match.
You just know what he's going to say, though. You just know what he's going to say, and he just frustrates the living daylights.
I'm looking forward to Ryan's after match when he's doing his match day vlogs, and he comes off a stage and going, you know what? Have me fucking season ticket. I've had enough. I'm doing with this shit. Yeah. Camera cuts off. Somebody else films him.
On the positive
YouTuber caught running to get his season ticket back for next week.
on a positive note, I always love coming to Blackpool, so I'll be coming this weekend. So it'll be good to come to Bloomfield Road again, of course, and enjoy. I love the seaside. I love Blackpool. I've always loved
We'll have to meet up before the game, and we'll have to meet up there. Jane sells a fanzine, so we'll be outside the sort of the main entrance from 2:00, probably 1:45, kind of there selling the fanzine. So I get there about 2 because I got to go and park the car. But yeah, we'll be.
Where's the main entrance? Is that near the Matthew statue, or around near the club shop?
No, it's the side that's on the Seasiders Way. So you've got the Jimmy Armfield statue, and it's that
Oh yeah,
main
it's Jimmy
door
Armfield.
That one, yeah.
where the
Yeah.
club go.
Is that where the
It's
coaches
the opposite
go
side to where the away fans are going to be. So it's the main sort of
Right, yeah, I get you.
the west stand, the stand that's nearest the sea. So we stand in front of there and sell the fancy seats. So you can find us there if you need to find us. We'll be there. For
Nice.
our
Happy
sins.
days.
Yeah.
So yeah, just come up and
Max
say
is
hello.
here.
And,
Ryan is the new Mark Goldbridge.
tell us all about
Oh,
your channel and stuff, and
I
I'll
ju-
give you a plug and whatever. We'll give you
yeah,
a
it
plug.
sounds good, definitely. But yeah, I've just had enough at the moment. With everything. But yeah,
I mean,
Yeah.
I suppose
Yeah,
I could say the same thing for all of you. To be fair, you've just recently sacked your manager, Nath. Tan out, I get that.
Yeah.
Most people would love a tan, not Cardiff.
Definitely not.
I'd love a tan. I'm ginger, I can't tan, so I'm all right. He's not touching me with a barge pole. But no, I mean, for you, do you believe that with the right appointment, you can get yourselves away from that, especially already having that 3-point gap at the moment?
It's really hard to say, mainly because look at 2016 when we appointed Neil Warnock, considering the off-the-pitch problems there, got us to the Premier League in the end. But looking at it now, with transfer embargoes, there's been fan boycotts for 10 years, which we'll obviously all know about dearly because fans won't return until Tan's gone. And lots of people have been very poignant on that. But at the end of the day, whoever we get in, and the fact we already know that they're not going to appoint a manager, we just know that now. Yes, there is some semblance of what happens because we don't know what Dean Whitehead's going to be at the moment. He could be one of the best managers in the Championship. You just don't know that. But I think with the off-the-pitch problems, I think it is now beyond repair for us. And I think the only, I've said it many a time, lots of Cardiff fans have said Mill away, and especially at the end of that Wigan game on Saturday night, this is the start of the proper push to remove them from their post. And I think it's gone beyond repair now, 100%. And if I'm honest, I do really think we're going down.
Are you at that point where whatever happens, and right now I don't give a shit as long as unless that cancer leaves the club, but it's just going to go tits up.
Exactly. You hit a nail on the head there, right there. And I think pretty much, I'd say about 85% of Cardiff fans would agree on that statement as well, especially considering Twitter at the moment and just the managed decline that we've been in ever since we got relegated from the Premier League. And even then, these problems have been in place since he's been in charge. But yeah, now he's beyond repair and it's the worst it's ever been.
Yeah, it's just a case of papering over the cracks and hoping that the fans will accept that.
And it just goes over the head, but it's so infirm now with every fan.
No, I mean, Lee, Luke says here, Simon Sadler, if he appoints the right people, he would have sacked Appleton after the Watford game. Players give an instant reaction. Now his game against Huddersfield is bigger than ever. I mean, I agree with what you said earlier. You were a big fan of Appleton coming in, having that second chance. Because at the time, not a big fan, but obviously he has more scope with the team than he would have when he was under the Oyston regime.
Under the Oystons, yeah, and also Blackpool were a better side after Critch had been here. You know what I mean? From what Critch did to what he left a decent side. We were safe last season with 2 months to go. It all fell apart at the end, and we didn't. Unfortunately we didn't finish above Preston, and we were above Preston with 2 games to go, and we lost to Derby and Peterborough, both relegated sides at the end, which just took the shine off the season. But we were a better side, by miles than we were. And I thought any sort of decent, experienced manager because Critchley wasn't experienced. He'd come from under 23 football. He didn't know the Championship. He was learning as he was going. It was a big step up from League One and everything else. And he did well. And I thought any manager with any sort of Championship knowledge will do better than Critch.
Yeah.
And he hasn't done through. I can't blame him totally because of the injuries are just horrific.
Yeah.
To really key players that were, people like Kevin Stewart, who, brilliant, from Liverpool. He's a great player. He's just sick note all the time. Jordan Gabriel, an amazing right back we got from Forest. How he falls off a stool at a party and breaks his leg, God only knows, but he did. And we suffered. We just suffered. Keshi Anderson, who was such a big play. We even got Liam Bridcut in. Who made a difference against. We played Watford and he changed the game, but he hasn't played 90 minutes before he's injured. You know what I mean? It just goes on and on and on, and I don't know really. We're in a similar boat to Huddersfield where, we're getting loans in again. We've got this Tom Tribal has come in who played for Norwich 3 years ago, and he got in the Premier League with him and took him up. And we've got him from the Bundesliga, which is like we got him on a free, of course. We haven't paid any money for him. Bowler we've got back on a free. I
was going to say it, but Bowler, I was going to ask you a bit about that because I know you know Josh Bowler, personally, you speak to his family and things like that. So how was it for you hearing that news and seeing him back in Tangerine colours? I know Jane will be very happy because I know she was devastated when he left.
She's been in emotional tears. She was so looking forward to Saturday. And if I'm being honest about him, I don't think he's totally match fit. I think he... But he was, probably the best player on the park at Watford. He was, there's a few moves where he just went through him like butter. You know what I mean? He's so good at times, but we were all thinking actually because he came on the pitch before the Forest game. He couldn't play against Forest obviously because of the parent club, but he came on and give the fans a round of applause and everything, and we all said, it's we beat Forest 4-1. Everyone said it's the Bowler factor, just the fact he's actually here has changed them. He didn't even get on the pitch, but he's back, and of course all that got as football does to you. When you have a bit of hope, it tends to just fucking put you right back down to the basement again and kick you into the gutter, doesn't it? And of course, we lost 2-0 and all that hope. It was everybody was going in headbands because, Bowler wears a headband and the Messiah had arrived and we've lost. So we're all still a bit worried and, we're not quite sure where it's going to go. And most Blackpool fans are saying if Appleton stays, we're down. That is the feeling. I've just done a 2-hour live stream with them all, and they're all of the same opinion that if we don't get rid of him, but the board have apparently said that keep the faith, We haven't got any bloody faith, sadly. We've sadly lost the faith and all that shit. We had a bit of faith a long time ago, but that faith has gone out the bloody window. You know what I mean? So, I've honestly, guys, I can honestly say if Appleton stays, I think we're down. I do. I think you can count us as down. So
who do you think is going to be in the bottom three then, Lee?
I think
come the end of the season.
I think Wigan look worse than us at the moment. So if they're worse than us and we're down, then I can't see Wigan. I think so. It's something really wrong at Wigan, isn't there? Because
I couldn't even find a Wigan fan, to be honest.
What was
trying to spraz their head out of a pie shop?
I don't.
Come on a podcast. It's a bit difficult.
I don't think the internet runs on pies there, so I don't think they have many. But they what was he called? Their manager.
They had Liam Richardson, didn't they?
Liam Richardson, yeah.
Well, they gave him a new contract and then sacked him the week later. And why? I don't understand that. Why they did that? So they've done a few odd moves, and I was surprised they got up. To be honest, because they're a bit of a. They're also another club that got these owners that just seemed like absolute vultures, didn't they? They were immediately trying to sell the ground for redevelopment and all this. I don't know what's happening there now, but it was looking really bad. And they were a club that, their owner was mad, wasn't he? Wigan, who was their manager? Who was the guy that owned JD Sports? What's his name?
Oh, Dave Whelan.
Dave Whelan. Yeah. Well, he was mad, Wigan, wasn't he? And they've got a great setup there because they've got a ground for, you know, both Wigan Rugby League, who are, you know, who were at one time the Man United of rugby league, weren't they? They were unbelievable, and they've got more trophies than anything. So they have the stadium in the summer, and they've got the football club. It all should be great, you know. All around Robbins Park, around there, is all developed in it. It's fabulous, and you know the stadium's great,
it's
isn't
a
it? You know,
quality away day, to be fair.
it is. It's
Even like
great.
We've only
Yeah.
ever been once. We drew 0-0 and we got caught in a pub where they were scrapping. So yeah, it weren't the best of days.
It wasn't the best for you, but no, it's you know, they're nice people in Wigan, really. We've done a football tourist guide, which I don't know if you know, Jane and I do this football tourist guide. She's got me doing it. She's a blogger and she writes about beer and food and football, and she wants to do this book. Well, she's writing a few books, but this football tourist guide is going to be a book where you know, you can read it, you know, and follow where we go. So we're finding like nice hotels for you to stay in, nice places to eat, nice, you know, venues to go out to. If you like your craft beer and that sort of stuff, you know, nice pubs to go to. And I'm making a video of it. And then in the end, that's going to be like a book and a video to kind of follow on. And it was, for me, it was a way of, because you're a football blogger, so you'll know this the minute I say it, that being a football vlogger is kind of good and bad in equal measure. And when I say it, you'll understand what I mean. It's good because unlike most YouTubers who are scratching around for something to film, or, you know, some sort of story to make, or what can we film about? And they're trying to write scripts and all that. We don't need to do any of that, because it's just, it never stops, does it? You've got another match to go to. You got another story to tell. You've got drama. You know, most of the matches we go to, if it was a Hollywood movie, you would say it's a bit far-fetched, this, you know, even like, you know, the Burnley game where we were, you know, down 3-1 down and we come back to 3-3, you know what I mean? If that was a movie and two men getting sent off, it would just, you wouldn't believe it, would you?
No.
You'd be saying Stallone couldn't possibly have scored that goal in the last, you know what I mean? It just couldn't be a Hollywood movie. So we've got that. We have a movie all the time to make. But the problem with our movies is they are here today and then never watched again, because everybody's interested in the next game and the next game and the next game. So all your videos that you did from like 2 years ago, nobody's going to watch them, you know. But if you were doing like a channel on, say, how to learn to paint, you'd have a series of videos when you start off with the basics and then the next thing, and you'd be saying at the end of it, right, so now you've learned how to paint that outline of a flower, watch this next video and that'll show you how to do that. And you know, and you have a course, don't you, and people can be watching that forever and a day, and your channel can just keep growing with all the people watching all your old videos. They're like evergreen, aren't they? Because we don't have anything evergreen at all. It's just here, gone, brilliant, gone. So I wanted to do something that was evergreen, and the idea of the football tourist guide is that, and it's kind of hard to do really, because the more of them you do, what I'm supposed to do is then say, if we did one for Burnley, then if somebody from, you know, Bournemouth or wherever, or Bristol City are coming to Burnley, I can go on the Bristol City website and say, oh, if you like having a weekend away, this is where we stay, this is what we did, watch this video. And I can do that for every video. I know Huddersfield, I don't know if you've seen my football tourist guide to Huddersfield. Have you watched it?
I haven't, no.
Only about 2 minutes long.
Watch it, because we had a great
2 minutes
time.
long, and it's the video on the way out of Huddersfield.
No, honestly, we had a fantastic time in Huddersfield. You won't believe what we got up to in Huddersfield. The only thing we did miss was the ice cream thing that's famous, but we did Jane took me down a bloody mine shaft at the bloody the mine, national coal mine thing. I was terrified going down there. It wasn't the greatest experience, if I'm being honest. It was fascinating, but it was terrifying all at the same time. I thought, there's no way I could have ever been a miner down it. Do you know what I mean? This is like, they showed you a thing where, like, back in the olden days, they used to have like the children and the family down with them while they were mining in the pitch black. Just totally pitch black, and they had to attach them by a string to the door so they didn't get lost, and they would sit outside all day just in total pitch black, couldn't see a bloody thing, and they actually turned the lights off and showed you how dark it was without a light on. And my God,
can you send me a link for that? I could do with sending my kids down there. Not that I'm going to sit with them, but I could do with
torture. Yes,
them up.
no, I couldn't film. I I couldn't film down in the down under the ground because it's a fire risk, with any sort of electrical. You had to put all your electrical equipment in because it could set a fire off and you could all get killed dead easy down there. So they won't allow anything electrical in. But I do come up and talk about it after, and it was terrifying. But we did that. We did the Whistle Stop Valley railway thing, which was fabulous. Oh God, we did loads. Honestly, we had a fantastic time in Huddersfield. Jane loves Huddersfield, and even on the video, I'll tell you something else that's really fantastic. When we're coming out at the end, and I'm walking down the street, and there's some in the main match vlog. There's some coppers. We pass them on the left hand side, and they're all like waving at us on the video and being, even the coppers were great in Huddersfield. You know what I mean? They were full of fun. Oh, it's a fabulous place, honestly. Yorkshire people are some of the nicest people, I've got to say. You know what I mean? I know we have the Lancashire Yorkshire thing, but honestly, brilliant. I have honestly, Huddersfield, fantastic. We had a great time. Watch the video. It's fantastic.
I will. I'm excited.
Yeah. Who's going with Wigan then, Lee? Who's going down with Wigan?
Who's going down? Oh, well, Cardiff, obviously, because it's. I'm now only because I'm convinced you've got no manager. I thought your transfer embargo had been lifted.
No, the FIFA had lifted that one, obviously with a payment, but the EFL have said no because it's a late payment. We're not lifting it, so you got an embargo for 3 years, or not 3 years, 3 windows. Shocking.
So Cardiff. I've got a bit of hope. Just before this, I was actually thinking, like I said, I thought Cardiff are going to get out of it because they're just a Premier League team, and they got this. I just thought, but listen to what you're saying, it sounds horrendous. So I think it's at the moment I would go for us, Wigan, and Cardiff. I would say. I think Huddersfield will get out of it. To be honest,
yeah,
I do.
agree.
I can't see you staying down there. I never have. I can't believe you're down there. I thought you'd got out of it ages ago, but. Even you give me a bit of hope. I've got to be honest. It's not great there.
Trust me, I'm not. All I'm going to say is the smile on Ryan's face made me think. Right, he's just had a twitch in his nether regions at the fact that we are saying Huddersfield are going to stay up.
It's great.
Stoke are in danger. Stoke are in danger, aren't they? There's something wrong at Stoke, and they took Sunderland's manager, didn't they? So I don't know why it's wrong at Stoke. But the other one that could. Rotherham. They have that.
Rule out Birmingham.
I know. Birmingham, but they seem to get out of it, don't they? They're a bit like Everton. They always get out of it, don't they, Birmingham?
Not this year.
Rotherham
Everton,
always get relegated, and sometimes that can be just a mental state of mind. When it comes to the end, where you just kind of can't do it because you think you're going to get relegated. But they have spent quite well. They smashed us when we played Rotherham. They smashed us at Rotherham. We think. Did we lose 5-0 or 4-0? We got absolutely battered by Rotherham. So we've got them coming up. So we've got some big games coming up. We've got obviously Cardiff. We've got Huddersfield coming up, and we've got Rotherham. And those are games that we need to win. But I think those are your kind of teams for me. Wigan, Cardiff, Rotherham, Hull. I think they'll get out of it. They've spent money, haven't they? I think Hull will get out of it.
Hull spent money though, but it's now come back to bite them in the arse.
Has it?
I mean, they're 16th. They're only, 5 points off Cardiff? So, they're still... The thing is with Hull, around that 16th...
They've pulled themselves out of it a bit, haven't they? They were right down
about there. 16th upwards is where you still got sort of a quick glimmer of hope that you could still potentially make playoffs if teams... do drop. Foxy's gone for Wigan.
Bristol City are funny, aren't they? Bristol City. They're another one. They're like a meh, aren't they? Bristol City.
Yeah.
They're just meh, aren't they? They're just like... There's nothing much about them, is there? They kind of hang in there, but they're not like ever challenging for anything. They're just steady Eddie, aren't they?
Yeah. I mean, Nathan, who's your 3 to go? I think we can all agree. Wigan, you're dead club.
Easily Wigan. I think it's going to be actually quite a distance as well that they're going to stay down because
that's what the DW stands for in the seats in the stadium. Dead Wigan.
Dead Wigan. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, considering their performance against us the other night, it's just bottom of the league standard. And then I do think Rotherham, I've been fairly consistent with it just because their drop off is going to be way too much for them. Huddersfield, think you guys are going to stay at Blackpool. It's going to be very tight, but I think you'll just edge it in 21st. I'm going to say us.
True Red. The Nottingham Forest reckons Blackpool. You can't see Blackpool going down. So I hope so. You're right, True Red.
Yeah.
He's a Nottingham Forest fan who suffers my videos with us. I don't know why. I sometimes think it's not worth your mental health following Blackpool as well as your own team. You know what I mean? Because it's hard enough following your own team, but if you suffer along with me and Jane as well, you know, you really put yourself through the mental health problems. We suffer. I'm suffering at the moment, you know, with really, you know, not wanting to go. I'm struggling with it at the moment.
That's what I mean with football. Like, it really can sort of dampen your mood, even though you look forward to a game at a weekend.
Yeah,
you still have that like sort of niggling feeling that you know, if we don't, you can be happy if your team puts in a performance and you get beat. But if the spirited performance isn't there and you get beat, then it's almost like, why am I putting money in? Why am I putting my money in from the season ticket towards your wages, towards sitting for 90 minutes watching this shit when I could have just sat watching the good years on YouTube? You know what I mean?
And you're top of the league, for God's sake. So, you know, it's but that's the trouble, isn't it? You know, it can all go wrong, can't it? So you can be top of the league.
That's the only problem with the championship.
You're never really settled, are you? You know, even you sat at the top of the league, you think, you know, it could, you know, just an injury to this player or that player, and it could all go wrong, and you know, we could just go on a bad run, and it could all go wrong, and you're never really settled until you actually achieve it, are you? You know, you have this.
No, I mean, I've noticed as well with Burnley, so for like the past few weeks, we've not been playing our best. We've literally not played our best at all. We have scraped past teams.
Well, that's a good sign. That's a good sign.
You know, we look. I don't know whether it's tiredness. You know, I think whether they're being pushed too hard, or I'm not entirely sure what it is. But we don't look like we. I don't know how to say it, because we always seem to find a way to grind the result out. You know, we got that 1-0 win over Coventry, but on the basis of the game, it was shy. It were a midfield battle, two teams playing football, and it just, we seem to be slowing down a little bit. And I just hope that that's not going to come back and bite us. Fingers crossed. But Eugene says here in the chat, I think Burnley will win the Championship trophy and be playing Premier League football again next season. Yeah. I hope so. But I would rather another season in the Championship, personally, for the players that we've got. I just think to still bed them in, because there's still a few teething issues for me that...
Where would you rather be, Dan? Would you rather be sort of like continually top of the Championship and winning lots of games, or would you rather be in the Premiership, clinging on but losing more than you win? And, you know, even though you lose against Manchester United, you're still losing, you know what I mean? Which is a more pleasant experience, sort of being up near the top of the Championship or struggling at the bottom and just clinging in? Which would you rather have?
It's sort of... You've got to feel for both camps, haven't you? Because if you get a good result against the team in the Premier League, you're happy as a pig in shit, not just for the weekend, but for the whole week until the next game day.
Yeah, if you beat Man United or something, it's massive, isn't it? City.
Yeah. I mean, I'll never forget 09-10 season when we got promoted under Owen Coyle, and we went to the Etihad and we managed a 3-3 draw. We were 2-0 up, and we managed a 3-3 draw in the end, and I was like,
God,
how has this happened? Like, how has this happened? But there's them little moments that you're always going to enjoy. You know, you have your moments of, you know, the near experience of staying up. You know, the Charlie Adam free kick. Is it on? Get another, and we could be staying up. You know, you've had that fire there. Cardiff, you've had the results in the Premier League. Same with yourself, Ryan. You know, we've all had that taste of. All had a taste of that champagne, and now we're back swimming in piss. You know what I mean? It's
just to the guys as well, because obviously, you know, we've all been in the Premier League now. I've had a little taste of it. If I'm being honest, I didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I was going to do, because I didn't like, you know, the few things I didn't like about it was, one, you don't play as many games. So you've only got like 38 games to play. Yeah. So you've got lots of free weekends where you're not playing football. And then you also get your games moved around to like suit Sky. So you're playing at like 12 o'clock on a Sunday, 5 o'clock in the afternoon on a Sunday, Friday night, Monday night, all these weird
Especially
times.
when you know it well as well, because of obviously where you're located. And then you have, say, I think the worst one we've had before. Oh yeah, Huddersfield midweek all the time.
Yeah.
Like we end up, and then you'll never discover how good our fans actually are, because we'll only take about what 600-700.
It's a long way, isn't it? On a midweek,
it's a long way anyway to Cardiff, and
it is
for most of us, I think.
But I didn't enjoy that fact that I didn't play on a Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock, which I like football at Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock. I like football on a Tuesday night at 7:30 or 8 o'clock. I don't like playing on a Monday night. I'm not keen on playing on a Sunday lunchtime or a Sunday. And I'll tell you what they also do is they move your games to, from where you were, and you arrange things. We had our little one, we were playing Man City on the Saturday, and it was our little one's swimming party. So we changed it to the Sunday because it clashed with City, and then they changed the bloody match to Sunday, and we couldn't change back. So I didn't even see Man City at Blackpool because I was at a swimming party with an 8-year-old, and for his 8th birthday, and it just annoyed me. So, and I also thought that I don't know whether it's the same now with VAR, but I thought they pander to the big clubs. You know what I mean?
Of course they do. Yeah.
The referees.
For example, is the reason we got relegated in 2019, Cardiff City versus Chelsea. That decision, and that wasn't even with VAR, and that is why I support VAR, because of rubbish like that.
Yeah, terrible decisions. Yeah, just remind everybody who doesn't know on the channel what happened.
Basically, Bruno Manga was by here. Save for us, was over here, completely offside. Ended up losing the game because of it.
Yeah, no, it's just honestly, it's bent as anything. It just is, and I remember we were playing Man United at home, 2-0 up at half time. And we had an absolute nailed on penalty. The TV said it was 11 out of 10, never mind 10 out of 10, a penalty. They just took Luke Varney straight out, nowhere near the ball, just clattered him to the ground, upended him as he was going in the box, and nowhere near the ball, just took him out. And the referee, you had Alex Ferguson on the side there, who was terrifying. He was terrifying. I've got to be honest. Even from the South Stand, you're thinking, God, he's frightening on that. And I'm sure the referee just went, if I give this penalty, and I've got to send the player off as well because it was on his second booking. If I send him off and give this penalty, put United down to 10 men, and Blackpool go 3-0 up, and I'm wrong, I'll never referee ever again in my life. This is the end of my career. But if I don't give it and I'm wrong, that's only Blackpool. Who's gonna care? And he just didn't give it.
That pisses me off with referees.
He didn't give it. No. He just didn't give it, and we'd have gone 3-0 up, and unfortunately we lost 3-2 because they
recently at that Liverpool
they brought
Wolves
Chicharito
game.
on, and
look at how much controversy there was in that.
Yeah,
that Liverpool Wolves game. Liverpool score with a player that's miles offside. Yeah, yet Wolves score a perfectly fair goal who's onside, and it don't count. Yeah, I mean, Ryan, who's your three for relegation?
I think Wigan. We're agreeing on Wigan. Let's see them getting out.
Wigan.
Rotherham. I think Rotherham, a yo-yo club. Like I said, they seem to do well in League One, but they just can't hack it in the Championship. Really, they're just not quite good enough to Championship, but too good for League One. So it's one of those. And the third one, it's a tricky one. Now, is it who I want to go down, who I think will go down? Because I think that...
Yeah, Sheffield United at Villa Park. I remember that.
Oh, yeah, that was ridiculous.
Yeah, there's been plenty of decisions that's...
it's wrong. It's wrong, isn't it? It's wrong.
Yeah.
Something I don't like about the Premier League, and that's why I'm not bothered if I never
That's
get
one of the exciting things I were looking forward to with the Championship. Ball hits the back of the net. Referee puts an arm out, says it's a goal. He's got nobody to argue with him. That's it. It's a goal. He's given it.
Yeah, you can go mad.
You're jumping around, yeah. As soon as you get to Premier League, you're going to have to stand there going, is he giving it? Am I just going to have to watch TV until it does it?
That moment when it goes in the net and you're all going mental, and then they have to VAR it, and oh my God. It must be... I've not experienced it yet, but I can't
horrible.
Imagine it done.
Torture.
I can imagine
Especially... It's happened a few times, especially when you had a striker like Chris Wood who was constantly offside, so half of his goals were ruled out. Yeah, it were happened quite often. But who did you say your third one would be, Ryan? If you did,
I'm still undecided. Probably gonna have to say Cardiff. Unfortunately, I just think, like I said, they are struggling, and it is sad because
you're both off Nathan's Christmas list, so that's it's fine.
Actually, to be fair, he's talked us into it.
You've made me feel like that. But of course, I do hope that Blackpool stick, because like I said, I do like Blackpool, but yeah. So
It's
that's
not a
my
Welsh
bottom
bias,
three.
Nath. We promise. It's not an English Welsh bias.
It's kind of a dark, it's a Lancashire Yorkshire derby, and it's not far. It's only an hour to Huddersfield.
It's a nice drive, yeah. It's
I mean, Cardiff's bloody murder, so we can get rid of that. Because it is a long way to Cardiff. God,
stages away. Yeah,
it's a long way back when you get beat and all.
And we've done a football
Dinny
tourist
and
guide to
Park
Cardiff
memories.
as well.
Oh yeah, bring it on.
Yeah,
Tell me
there
this
is a
is
football
good.
tourist guide to Cardiff from last season, so you can watch that as well. We had a great time in Cardiff as well. Really good. We stayed over there.
Just Burnley wear security treat you like shit, Lee, this season.
We did that museum, the Museum of Welsh Life.
Which one? There's two. St. Fagans.
Yeah, St.
Quality place,
Yeah. Well, wow. That it's sad there because it's a national museum and they can't charge for it, can they? And the stately home that they've got there, that's like, oh my God, it's unbelievable. It's just beyond belief, but it's going to rack and ruin because they haven't got the money to keep it up. But
yeah,
honestly,
it's because they had a massive renovation a few years ago with all like that front thing, so they just can't afford to do anything else. So,
but there's a pub opening there, isn't there? A famous.
Yes, the Vulcan is about to open, which was this old pub that was demolished for a car park in Cardiff City Centre.
Yeah, they've rebuilt it, haven't they? They're rebuilding it. Yeah, no, that's good. That's going to bring people in, and it's going to sell beer and everything else. And people are going to walk in, and it's just like being in the. That's amazing. They actually showed you how they take buildings and take them down brick by brick by brick and count all the bricks and number everything, and then build it all back up again. I mean, what? Can you imagine doing that as a job?
Museum. It's just simply amazing. But
it is.
Yeah,
it is
it's even though I don't live there myself, it's a great city, and there's just everything there. So
now watch our football tourist guide and you'll see that what I'm talking
about.
I'm
going to be straight onto it after this.
Yeah, do watch it. It's
stream, yes.
It's fabulous. And also if you're watching the stream, you'll see how great, it's honestly, go to Cardiff and stay over. I used to be probably like you guys where I would just set off, get to the match like half an hour before, travel maybe an hour before, get a burger, go in, come home. But Jane likes to go for the whole weekend, stay over,
But you want to do that. But financially, you love to do that and make a complete weekend of it. But like you say, it does get expensive. If you feel if you go there with not much time before kickoff, you're not going to spend as much because it's literally you're in, you're out, you're back on the road. If you're going to spend money, it's going to be at a services on way back when you either need a piss or just.
Well, the football doesn't ruin the weekend as much because you've had a great time. You've done.
Unless you're the designated driver, it must really piss you off.
We went to London and we did the mail train, which is like a separate underground for the mail that you can ride on, which is mind blowing. And we went to the Book of Mormon, the theatre there, which is that's a great show, by the way. It's really funny. And we just had a great time. We did a river cruise with all the fans on one of them, before the game against Fulham. And it's honestly, it's great to do a weekend. And if you lose, you've had a decent weekend and you meet some lovely people as well. People are great wherever you go. I think England's brilliant and we don't see enough of it. We don't.
Wales ain't too bad even if. I'll just throw that one in.
I know Wales. Swansea is brilliant. I know you won't like that. I know you won't like it, but Swansea was fantastic. Mumbles was ace. Mumbles in Swansea is really nice, and the pier there was great. We met the owner there, and he was playing pool. We had a bit of a video with him. Simon Sadler on that one as well. Jane had gone down to see Father Christmas on Mumbles Pier, and we were hanging around because she got the time wrong. We had to wait an extra hour, so we bumped into Simon Sadler playing pool in a pier.
That's amazing. That is.
Yeah, no, it's amazing.
I mean, I've got to be honest, as a Cardiff fan, Mumbles I can tolerate, but it's not technically in Swansea, so I'll let it slide.
Yeah, no, but we saw some a great Welsh band who sang all their songs obviously in Welsh, but they did Mac the Knife in Welsh, and they were really cool.
Fantastic.
And there's loads of stuff, in Swansea, but both Swansea and Cardiff. Loved it, honestly. Loved it. Loved the trip to Wales. It was just fab, but it's just so far. So we're not doing it this year.
And like you said, though, Lee, you go to these places, you meet great people, and I've had 3 absolute great guests on tonight, and I really appreciate all 3 coming on and giving up your time. Really,
we all deserve to stay up.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Don't we? Hey, all look at us, all nice guys.
I'll take that statement as of next season, Lee. But But no, Ryan, thank you very much for coming on. Really do appreciate it. Tell people where they can follow you and check your stuff out.
Yeah, thank you for having me as always, Dan. I've loved it. I always love coming on here and saying my things. But yeah, you can find me on my channel, obviously. Huddersfield Town Fan TV on YouTube. My socials, Twitter and Instagram, HTFTV8 as well. So please follow on those. But yeah, thank you as always. And yeah, I'll see you soon.
You definitely will.
Huddersfield Fan TV. Let me just check if I've got
yeah, Huddersfield Town Fan TV.
Huddersfield Town.
And then, Nath, you've got your channel at NWM.
Yeah.
Don't forget the underscore. Can never forget the underscore. Do not underestimate the power of the underscore.
Oh, absolutely. Ever since YouTube put that thing in, it's been even more prevalent as of now anyway. But yeah, if you want some very miserable at the moment, very angry Cardiff City content, including, well, let's just say miserable matchday vlogs. Yes, we might score the odd goal where there's a few limbs and we go on some cracking away days. My personal favourite has to be like that one last season. Quality away day last year. Make sure to subscribe. I'm going to be going there back up to Bloomfield Road this season as well. I can't wait for it. Luton Town away next week.
Just tell me your channel again. Just go through your channel.
Just type in NWM Cardiff and then it should come up.
NWM?
Yes, Cardiff, and then it should come up.
Oh, Cardiff, yeah.
With any luck.
Yeah, looking latest from NWM. There we are. Yeah, okay. So yeah.
Fantastic.
Subscribe to both of you. There you go. Thank you very much.
Happy days.
Excellent. Yeah. Well, you can keep in touch then. It's good to know other vloggers.
Yeah, because at least then you've got like different fans from different clubs, and it's always good, isn't it? And
collaborations are really good, you know. Collaborations are.
Oh yeah, they are.
Very good for your channel. If you could just collaborate with Thogden, we'd all be all right, wouldn't we? If we just do one video with him one time. Just play Bolton somewhere, and him actually go to a Bolton game, and you could get thousands, couldn't you? You know, something like that.
So it is. You just need that one lucky break or one lucky person to come on who's got that big following, and they just follow him around. And
yeah, of course.
Absolutely. Right. But Lee, you've got a good following yourself.
I have.
You know, you're doing really well on the old YouTube scene.
Indeed.
But I mean, tell people where they can go and still show their support if they're not already.
Yeah, we are Lee Charles TV. Everything is we are Lee Charles TV, but it's also #Blackpool fan channel. So
Lee Charles TV too, because of scammers.
Yes, well, on Instagram, I'm Lee Charles TV too. Yeah, because somebody hacked my account and sent out a load of bloody, I don't know, invites to a quiz or a prize or something, and an Instagram blocked my account.
They leaked your news, Lee. Come on, just say it as it is. They leaked your news.
Yeah, they bloody apparently I violated the Instagram rules, so they shut my channel down, even though I didn't do anything wrong, and I did report it, and I've sent my photograph with the date on and everything like they asked me to, but they won't give me back. So I'm now Lee Charles TV 2. I've had to start all over again, and I had 2,000 followers on there, so that's annoyed me. I'm on Twitter. I'm at Lee Charles TV. I'm TikTok pocking and locking and popping now, down with the kids, so you can follow me on TikTok, Lee Charles TV. It's all Lee Charles TV. So yeah, if you want to suffer relegation, follow all those three. That'll really improve your life if you're not one of our fans. You're gonna watch us all suffer this season. So it'll be good though, won't it, to see who survives. You've watched this show, you've heard what we've said. Will we all still be here next season talking to Dan?
I hope so.
Will Dan still be here? Will his season fall apart? He's not up yet.
No.
Burnley are not so good, so we live in hope that they're going to fail.
It's either that or you're just going to get the average Watford, Norwich and all that shit going up and down every year, but we'll see. James says, all right, hi and bye as we are about to end this one. Callum says,
watch
Lee.
it on the rerun.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Lee, let's beat Huddersfield FC. We're down to League One, mate, he's saying. Time will tell. Time will tell.
It's a big 6-pointer.
Nate's in the building. Up you well, Nate. Evening to your fine self. Luke says, top stuff, gents. Come on, Blackpool. I want to see you stay up. You're too good for League One. Proved that last season. Callum says, let's win Saturday. As you say, Lee, come on the pool. Come on the pool.
That's it.
Although Callum's put up the horrid pool.
The orange pill.
Get rid of that
Yeah.
sediment out at bottom.
He's a
Eugene
Blackpool
says,
fan.
I think Blackpool will stay up this season. So, you know, we've got...
Deluded.
But no, thank you very much for coming on. Really do appreciate it. As I said, the links to the 3 guest channels is in the description of this video. So please do go and check them out and show your support. They'll
And
gladly
support
wear
Dan
it.
as well. Support Dan if you haven't subscribed. Subscribe to him. He works
Yeah.
hard.
Definitely.
I won't go that far, but
You put a shift in, mate. That's all I can
You
say,
do, you
know.
do, Dan. You work hard. You do.
You do work hard. You deserve all the success and.
and I'm going to get to know the missus at some point when I finally get around to talking to her.
5-1 to the Blackpool. Bloody hell.
Oof. A big scoreline. Very big scoreline.
Steady on, Callum. There,
Well,
Jesus.
We will be discussing that on Thursday. We will be having our normal EFL prediction show at 9 o'clock on Thursday. I'm trying to find a Forest fan. What am I on about? Trying to find a West Brom fan that will actually answer me back on Twitter. They just honestly, I don't know why. They must be so excited with everything going on under Carlos at the minute that nobody's good enough to speak to them. But that said, if not,
Shocking.
we will be back.
Relegate him.
Yeah, get him down. If not, we will be back with a watch along on Friday night. Because we play on the Friday night against West Brom, so we will be doing the watch along for that. So join us then. Again, thank you very much to everyone in the chat. Really do appreciate the love and support you've been showing the channel and getting involved. So thank you so much. Calm says, good luck for the rest of the year. Gonna need it, and obviously see what January brings for us all. It's like a late Christmas for us football fans. United 58 says, great stream, Dan. Oh, it's Talk. Happy days, Talk. Hope you're well, mate. Hope you're well. But no, thank you very much. As I say, I really do appreciate it. Until the next time, we will see you again with another video real soon. Thanks again for watching. Good night.